The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Flowers, Alderman Bosley, Alderman Moore, Alderwoman Hubbard, Alderwoman Ingracia, Alderman Coulter, Alderman Conway, Alderman Ortman, Alderman Vollmer, Alderman Villa, Alderman Arnowitz, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard, Alderwoman Green, Alderwoman Behringer, Alderman Rhodey, Alderman Kennedy, Alderwoman Davis, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman French, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Vaccaro, Alderman Ogilvie, Alderman Cole, Alderman Williamson, Alderman Carter, Alderwoman Cruson, President Reed.
Here.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Flowers, Alderman Arnowitz, Alderwoman Murphy, Alderwoman Howard, Alderman Rhodey, Alderwoman Davis, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Boyd, Alderman Williamson, 22 present.
A quorum being present, and I ask everyone in the chambers and the galleries to stand. First, join me in a moment of silence for the 14 people who were killed by two gunmen at a holiday party in San Bernardino, California on Wednesday. Let's keep the families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. Giving all honor to God, Almighty God, source of all authority, we humbly ask guidance in our deliberations and wisdom in our conclusions. Amen. As is our holiday tradition, I tell you, I am always excited for this day because we have the RK Voices, the Rosati Kain High School, and they call themselves the RK Voices. They really warm your heart and get you in the Christmas spirit, and we are so blessed to have them join us every year. So, RK Voices, take it away. Let's give them one more round of applause. Thank you. It really gets you in the Christmas spirit and ready for the holidays. Introduction of honored guests. Actually, we have Alderman from the 11th. Would you like to do your resolution? I move for adoption of our courtesy resolution calendar. Entertain a second. Seconded by the Alderman from the 7th. Alderman from the 11th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Should I approach the dais?
Yes, please approach the dais.
Good morning. For those of you that haven't heard, I last Sunday morning attempted to go to 10:30 Mass, and at 10:27 I decided to fall and break my right elbow and shoulder. So if I look like Vince Ferragamo up here, whatever the guy's name is that's bursting out of his sport coat, and I'm delusional and I don't make any sense, it's because of the medicine. It certainly isn't my lack of public speaking skills. The two people to my right, this is going to be Tom Bradley Day. Tom Bradley, for those of you that don't know, is the superintendent at the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial, or our Gateway Arch. I was privileged to serve on the Jefferson National Parks Association board for approximately a dozen years, and I got to know Tom in the early going when I was down there. He didn't understand me at the time. I think I may have teased you about my how well I knew Barbara Geisman or didn't know her. Isn't that how we got off, Tom? Yeah, so we got off on very unsavory footing. But anyway, got to know Tom in that role, and I will just tell you that I was extremely impressed with his air of quiet confidence. I think Tom and Betsy Bradley were brought here and were handed a gargantuan task of completing what is currently going on at the site of the Gateway Arch. And as we all know, what a tremendous major undertaking that has become. I certainly, in my infinite wisdom, predicted that would not get done because of the lack of funding. But at any rate, this is Tom Bradley's first day of retirement from the National Park Service. And according to this, he started in 1972. Is that right, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. So he's got to feel good about that. For those of you that have had dealings with Betsy Bradley, we all know she's the head of our Cultural Resource Department. And I certainly, over the past couple of years, have had some dealings with her, some more pleasant than others, I might add. But that's the nature of what we do. She has a very, very difficult job to do to try to restore our historic preservation, and oftentimes the alderman has a difficult job to do as to whether or not what should be preserved and what shouldn't be preserved, and so on. But both of these individuals are certainly unselfish public servants. But again, I'm going to touch on a few of the highlights in Tom's resolution, and I promised Betsy that I will follow Tom's resolution up with the resolution for her, because I called Betsy to get the information on Tom, and then Mrs. Vela, in her infinite wisdom this morning, saying, "What are you doing for Betsy?" And that's a typical 70-year-old mistake on my part. But Betsy is going to stay working for the city for at least a couple more months, right, Betsy?
Yes.
Okay, so we will have an opportunity to honor you at a subsequent meeting. But I guess where I was going with that point is, I'm not so sure that Tom needed this. I'll use the phrase again, this gargantuan task of getting that accomplished. I think the National Park Service had a tremendous amount of confidence in his ability to get it done. And thank you, Mr. President. What a tremendous legacy to live with, no matter where he goes in this great world of ours, knowing he's responsible for, in effect, redoing what has become the iconic symbol for our great city of St. Louis, and that Tom and Betsy has to, because of your unselfishness and dedication to purpose, that just has to, not many people can say that, and for that we as a region are extremely grateful to you. I'm not going to read this resolution. You all have it in front of you. I don't like these things being read to me, although I'm just going to touch on the highlight. He began in 1972 at Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. After a stint in the Army, he became a permanent park ranger. Then he became a park ranger at Cape Cod National Seashore and Sequoia National Park, where his daughter Ann was born. Served as the site manager at St. Croix, a National Historic Site, and then continued his career as assistant superintendent at the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, where his family lived in Liberty Island in New York Harbor. And then he went to Cuyahoga National Park, program director superintendent of the St. Croix Scenic Riverways. And then we were fortunate enough in 2008 to have Tom accept the position here in St. Louis, and for that we certainly owe them a debt of gratitude. So 43-year career, what a way to end it. And again, I just knew once I got to know Tom, and I think he got to know me a little. It was just, they put someone here in charge that was even-keeled, understood numbers, and if you follow my drift here, he understood numbers probably better than maybe some of our local people did. But the end result is just a tremendous success and a big win for our St. Louis region. And with that, Tom and Betsy, I'll give you this resolution, and we as the St. Louis Board of Aldermen wish you nothing but good health and good success in whatever your future travels and endeavors entail. And thank you.
Any further discussion? Also want to, Alderman from the 28th. Looks like you were heading to the mic. I also want to add my thanks and congratulations to both of you, not just from me and other members of the Board of Aldermen, but for residents across the city, people across the region. You have done a magnificent job down there, and you will be missed. And hopefully you'll have time for us to assign you to some special committees here and there, so it'll prevent you guys from traveling for a while. But this resolution is the highest honor this board has to give any individual. What it does, it cements in time some of your many contributions up until this point, so that when you go back and research the history of the city of St. Louis, you will find your name amongst those records and know that you've passed this way and that you've made a significant contribution to the rebirth of our city. So I'm honored to share this dais with you today, and we're going to have to just keep you around a little bit longer. Don't encourage her to retire anytime soon. She's been tremendous help to us also. Let's give them one more round of applause. Congratulations from the Board of Aldermen.
Thank you, President Reed and Alderman Villa. It's been our great honor to live and work in St. Louis the last 7 years. I had one quick Alderman Villa memory. He would often comment on whatever was going on, and there was a picture in the Post-Dispatch once, and Tom said, "It takes a big man to stand in front of Mayor Francis Slay," which is the way the picture was framed, and it was kind of the way that Tom would keep these notes coming, and he's always been helpful to us. And again, thank you very much for this great honor.
Let's give Alderman Villa a round of applause too, because he broke his arm, went into the hospital, got surgery, and made it back in here to give this resolution today. So let's give him a round of applause, because that was big. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt our courtesy resolution calendar. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. With that, we'll return to our regular order of business. Introduction round of guests. Any introduction round of guests? Alderman from 3rd.
Mr. President and members of the board, I'd like to introduce my daughter, Lakeisha, who has been very, very active in organizing and getting the young people of the 3rd ward involved in, I wouldn't say politics, but in that community.
Yeah. Any further introductions? Alderman from the 16th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I would like to have as my special guest today Anthony Lencia and Gina Hackenworth with Ameren Ewing.
Alderman from 22nd.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to have as my honored guest this morning, Mr. Demetrius Alford with Local 73 and Percy Green with Fire.
We also have with us Brandon Flynn. There you go, laborers. Brandon, stand up, Brandon. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome him today. Any further introductions? And then for all the other organized labor bodies, I know we have carpenters over there, plumbers, pipe fitters. You guys stand up. Let's give you all a round of applause. Alderman from 10th, like to wrap us up.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the board, we're gathered here on December 4th. This is Santa's List Day. Today, 21 days before the big day, is when he finalizes his naughty or nice list. So all you folks who have been very nice all year, feel free to crank up the naughty starting tomorrow. Thank you.
You clap on that. All right. Alderman from the 18th, recognized on the approval of the minutes.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, I move for approval of the November 13th and 20th minutes.
Moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in sections A, B, and C of the agenda and have been placed in all aldermen's mailboxes. I have in his honor the mayor the following correspondence. Dear Chairman Kennedy and members of the Board of Aldermen, I have the pleasure to submit the following individual for appointment to the Civilian Oversight Board. I respectfully request that the nomination be approved by the Public Safety Committee and confirmed by the full board. The appointment of Mr. David Noah Bell, resident of the 26th Ward and 3rd Civilian Oversight District. Thank you for your consideration of Mr. Bell's appointment. Sincerely, Francis G. Slay, Mayor, City of St. Louis.
Alderman from the 18th, you recognize on the mayor's appointment to the Civilian Oversight Board.
Mr. President, we want that referred to public safety.
Madam Clerk, please refer that appointment to Public Safety Committee.
So noted. That's the extended report of city officials.
We dispense with line item 7. And would anyone like to take any bills off of any of our informal calendars? Would anyone like to take any bills off of any of our informal calendars? We will dispense with line items 8 through 10. First reading, Alderwoman from the first.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move to suspend the rules so that I can introduce Board Bill 249.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the first, seconded by the Alderman from the ninth. Any discussion? Is it on everyone's desk, Alderwoman?
It should be. Do you have one, Mr. President?
Been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Aye.
Alderwoman Flowers. Alderman Bosley. Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderman Coulter. Alderman Conway. Alderman Ortman. Alderman Vollmer. Alderman Villa. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Green. Alderwoman Behringer. Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Kennedy. Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman French. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Ogilvie. Alderman Cone. Alderman Williamson. Alderman Carter. Alderwoman Cruzen. President Reed.
Aye.
Alderwoman Flowers. Alderman Coulter. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Williamson. 25 aye votes.
By your vote, stay in the motion. Alderwoman from the first. Madam Clerk, please place Board Bill number 249 at the end of our first reading calendar.
So noted.
First reading of Board Bills.
Board Bill 237, sponsored by Alderman Villa, an ordinance authorizing the execution of amendment to the redevelopment agreement between the city and Carondelet Broadway TIF Incorporated for the redevelopment of Carondelet Coke redevelopment area, amending the time for performance chart and the amount of the Carondelet Commons Community Improvement District Special Assessments, and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 238, sponsored by Alderwoman Cruzen, an ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 5301 through 13 Pershing, and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 239, sponsored by Alderman Ortman, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 3011 Missouri. Board Bill 240, sponsored by Alderman Rhodey, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4249 Shoto. Board Bill 241, sponsored by Alderman Coulter, an ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 919 through 21 and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 242, sponsored by Alderman Coulter, an ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 2217 through 21 South 10th Street and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 243, sponsored by Alderman Coulter, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 1900 through 1908 Lafayette. Board Bill 244, sponsored by Alderman Ogilvie, an ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 1243 Graham Street containing a severability clause. Board Bill 245, sponsored by Alderman Conway, an ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4150 Shenandoah. Board Bill 246, sponsored by Alderman Williamson, an ordinance prohibiting the issuance of any packaged liquor license for any currently non-licensed premises within the boundaries of the 26th Ward Liquor Control District and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 247, sponsored by Alderman Boyd, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Fire Commissioner on behalf of the Mayor to enter into and execute a grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Federal Emergency Management Agency Assistance to Firefighters Grant to fund the 2014 Fire Prevention and Safety Get Alarmed Program and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 248, sponsored by Alderwoman Hubbard, an ordinance amending Ordinance 66297 by modifying the real estate tax abatement in Sullivan, Dodier, North 23rd Street, North 25th Street, redevelopment area. Board Bill 249, sponsored by Alderwoman Tyus, an ordinance authorizing and directing the street commissioner to take all necessary actions to honorarily designate the 5,000 through 5,400 blocks of Shreve Avenue between Bercher and West Florissant as Reverend Donald Hunter Lane. That's the extent of our first reading.
Madam Clerk, please assign Board Bill 249 to the Streets Committee.
So noted.
Reference the committee.
To the Public Safety Committee, Board Bills 246 and 247. To the Neighborhood Development Committee, Board Bills 239, 240, 241, 242, and 244. To the Housing Committee, Board Bills 237, 238, 245, and 248. And to the Streets Committee, Board Bill 249. That's the extent of reference to committee.
Second reading.
The following board bill was reported out of the Public Safety Committee. Board Bill 190, sponsored by Alderman Balmer, and an ordinance repealing Ordinance 69874, and in lieu thereof enacting a new ordinance prohibiting the issuance of any package or drink liquor license for any currently non-licensed premises within the boundaries of the 10th Ward Liquor Control District as established herein and containing an emergency clause. That's the extent of our second reading.
We dispense with line item 14, perfection consent.
Board Bill 171, sponsored by Alderman Kotar, an ordinance recommended by the Board of Public Service to conditionally vacate travel on a 15-foot wide north-south alley in City Block 109, bounded by Poplar, 4th, Sear, and Broadway. Board Bill 180, sponsored by Alderman Kotar, and ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 2268 South Jefferson and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 181, sponsored by Alderman Kotar, and ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 2242 Shenandoah and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 187, sponsored by Alderman Conway, and ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 4020 Russell and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 188, sponsored by Alderwoman Murphy, and ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 4309
Have some order.
Gertrude and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 189, sponsored by Alderman Villa, and ordinance approving a blighting study and a redevelopment plan for 6329 Minnesota and containing a severability clause. Board Bill 222, sponsored by Alderman Balmer, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4339 Juniata. Board Bill 223, sponsored by Alderman Balmer, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4418 through 4420 Connecticut. Board Bill 224, sponsored by Alderman Balmer, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 2733 January. Board Bill 225, sponsored by Alderman Conway, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 3800 Shaw. Board Bill 227, sponsored by Alderman Kennedy, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 4245 through 4259 Lindell. Board Bill 228, sponsored by Alderman Kennedy, and ordinance approving a redevelopment plan for 625 North Euclid. Board Bill 205, sponsored by Alderman Boyd, and ordinance recommended by the Planning Commission to change the zoning of property from G, local commercial and office district, to the C, multiple family dwelling district at 5714 Rear Goodfellow Place in City Block 5239 and containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 229, committee substitutes, sponsored by Alderman Conway, and ordinance recommended by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment authorizing and directing the issuance, sale, and delivery of not to exceed $23,010,000 principal amount of general obligation refunding bond series 2015 to refund the fees and are paid together with other available funds, certain outstanding general obligation bonds, and to pay the cost of issuance of such bonds and containing a severability clause. That's the extent of perfection consent.
Alderman from the 18th, you recognize on the motion for the perfection consent calendar.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move for adoption of the perfection consent calendar.
Moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderman from the 25th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We would dispense with line items 16 through 19. First reading of resolutions.
Resolution 142, sponsored by Alderwoman Hubbard. The Board of Aldermen authorized the Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority to file eminent domain proceedings in circuit court or take any other actions authorized by law against all of the particular parcels of land identified in Exhibit A to this resolution.
Alderwoman from the 5th, you recognize on the first reading of resolution number 142.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to send Resolution 142 to the HUD Committee.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 5th, seconded by the Alderman from the 25th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please sign Board Bill number Resolution number 142 to HUDs.
So noted. Resolution 144, sponsored by Alderman Boyd. The Board of Aldermen will continue to use its best efforts to be a disaster-resistant community by supporting and participating in the All Hazards Mitigation Plan update.
Alderman from 22nd, you recognize on the first reading of Resolution 144.
Yes, Mr. President, please refer Resolution 144 to Public Safety.
Could you put that in the form of a motion?
I'd like to move to have Resolution 144 assigned to Public Safety.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 22nd, seconded by the Alderman from the 25th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please sign Resolution number 144 Public Safety.
So noted. That's the extent of first reading of resolution.
We will dispense with line item 22, miscellaneous unfinished business.
We have none.
Announcements.
Wednesday, Housing Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. in the Kennedy Room. Also on Wednesday, Public Safety Committee meeting at 6 p.m. in the Kennedy Room. That's 6 p.m. in the Kennedy Room to interview with David Noah Bell, the nominee for the Civilian Oversight Board. On Thursday, we will have a Ways and Means Committee meeting at 9 a.m. in the Kennedy Room, room 208, and that's to take up Board Bill 219. Friday, full board meeting, 10 a.m. in the chambers. That's the extent of my announcements.
We also have a couple birthdays that we should not let pass without congratulating these three individuals. We have Donna Booker, our assistant clerk, November 30th, Lisa McNichols' birthday, and also Alderman Freeman Bosley Sr. Let's all give them a round of applause and a happy birthday. And we also want to thank the plumbers and pipe fitters, Local 562, for providing the donuts and coffee this morning. Thank you, guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Any further announcements? Alderman from the first.
Mr. President, members of the board, this morning I had the opportunity to attend a Promise Zone Summit hosted by Congressman William Lacey Clay. It was at the Harris-Stowe State University Emerson Physical Education and Performing Arts Center. So sorry I have a hoarse voice. And it was between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. today. The mayor was there, County Executive Steve Singer, and the whole thing was to enable us to learn more about this most powerful tool to help us get more money. Unfortunately, I had to leave because it was in the middle of the time that we have our meetings. And so I'm going to urge the congressman. I want to thank him, first of all, for the summit, but I really would wish that he would have had it at a different time. I'm going to urge him to host it again so that many of us can appear or go there, because there was some valuable information. They had a lot of important people, and I have been trying to find out more about this since they first announced that St. Louis was going to be a part of it, and I've actually been able to get more information from my friends in California who got it, who was designated last year than I have in St. Louis. So I think we're missing out on valuable information of how we can help our community, and I will follow up this announcement with a letter to the congressman, because I really do think we ought to know about ways to help our community.
That's a very good point, Alderwoman. Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I need coats. I need coats for the children in my ward. We're building a $2 billion stadium, and I need coats for the forgotten children in the 4th ward. Not being mean, but please, we need coats for these children. I need 1,000 coats. So someone find Peacock and get some of that money and buy some coats for these children in my community. Farragut School has an accreditation. We appreciate Farragut School for participating in bringing our schools back up to score. And we have Breakfast with Santa. That's when we're going to do the coats. December the 12th. That's next Saturday, December the 12th. I need coats for these children where I will play Santa Claus, and any of you like to come sit on my knee, you're more than welcome. But I play Santa Claus on that day. It starts at 8 a.m. We feed over 300 children breakfast. We give them coats if we have them, and some toys and some fruit. House Bill 1703, I might be wrong, but that's the House bill that puts prayer back in school, but that's not a big issue. That's not a big issue for us. We need prayer. We need more prayer, because you need to pray for that stadium. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Alderman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'll pass on the invitation for your knee, Alderman from the 4th. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, December 5th, Saturday, if you're looking for something to do, it's Christmas on the Hill. Starting around noon and all day till around 7 in the evening. They'll have carriage rides, carolers. Santa will be there. It'll be a fun day. Shops will have special events. They're giving away free sausage sandwiches as long as they last in front of the church. Corner of Wilson Marconi, there's a St. Ambrose Church. There's a little-known tavern across the street. Come by, have a good time.
All right, thank you. Alderman from the 9th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'll also pass on the knee. I need to announce that Saturday and Sunday is Cherokee Lemp Antique Rose annual cookie spree. So they have from homemade to store-bought. It's always a good time. Come check out the antiques, the stores, and get several different kinds of cookies.
Right.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Alderman from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Next Friday evening, if you need a happy hour from 5:30 to 7:30, the Urban League Guild is sponsoring a holiday gift grabbing, because I'm grabbing everybody I know to come and help us with this. The individual contribution is $10 and an unwrapped gift. Last year we served 760 families, so I would be happy for any contributions that we can get. I also wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to come and see the facility. It will be at 711 North Grand. That's Pythian Ballroom. It is at the top of the Grand Arts Academy High School, directly across the street from the Symphony. And just for your information, coming soon to the corner of Grand and Washington is LaRusso's Restaurant. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alderman from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. If you are looking for something to do tomorrow, small businesses in Tower Grove East and Fox Park will be hosting a holiday walk. They will have giveaways, raffles, and items for sale at a discount for your holiday needs. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Alderman from the 7th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. This weekend is the 40th annual Soulard Parlor Tour. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, come on down to Soulard and take a look at some of our beautiful historic homes. You can buy tickets in advance at soulard.org, or you can buy them day of by showing up at Gene Slay's Boys and Girls Club, newly named Boys and Girls Club, on the corner of 11th and, Sydney, right by the Cat's Meow. So come on down to Soulard for the parlor tour. Thanks.
Thank you. Alderwoman from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Two fun events this weekend in the 28th Ward. The first one is in Skinker to Bolivar. It's called Winter Market. It's at the corner of DePere and Kingsbury. Lots of art, crafts, winter gifts there. They also have music and usually a nice little fire going to warm yourself by. So that's in Skinker to Bolivar, called Winter Market. And then in the Central West End is the window walk this weekend. And the tree lighting is at 5 o'clock on Saturday at the fountain on Maryland. But the whole event starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And windows are decorated, carolers, all kinds of festivities. So thank you. Hope you can join us.
Okay. Alderman from the 3rd. Yes.
Mr. President, members of the board, I'd just like to announce, as usual, the 3rd Ward is going to have its Christmas party December the 12th. We've got about 56 brand new bicycles that no one has ever ridden before that's going to be given away to the kids in our community. And any alderman that is willing and would like to come and present a bicycle to a child is welcome to come. The food is going to be free to people in the neighborhood, the block captains. They all come together and they cook some of the best Christmas dinners that you'll ever get. But one of the most gratifying things is to see how the children step away when they get a brand new bicycle. So many children in our zip codes, they're very, very poor and don't get an opportunity to get a brand new bicycle for Christmas. So this is a chance that you can come and award a new bicycle to a child who may not ever get any bicycle, but they're going to get a brand new bicycle this time. And that's going to be December the 12th at Clay Elementary School. 5 o'clock in the evening.
Any further announcements? Any further announcements? Any further announcements? Alderman from the 18th, you recognize on the motion to excuse.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move that we excuse the alderman from the 2nd, 14th, 20th, and 26th for necessary absence.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 18th. Entertain a second on that motion. Seconded by the alderman from the 25th. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Too late. Alderman from the 18th, you recognize on the motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move that the board adjourns until Friday, December the 11th, 10 a.m.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 18th, seconded by the alderman from the 7th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stand adjourned.